Okay, YouTubers, this is Joe from Art Alien TV. Now today I've got a few things to show you, but I won't be taking too long. This will be quite a short video. Let's crack straight on with it. I've got 3 gigapans. I've got this one here, which is Sol 3151. This is the Curiosity rover. I've got another one from the same day here, which is close up of the ground. And I've got a new one here from the Perseverance rover, which is Sol 122. And this is just a small one, but there's something interesting there, which I'm going to show you now. Now this is a view east in Jezero crater. Now I've shown this mound before, which is rather strange. This is the one that's got this weird line coming down off the top of it. Now that's probably natural. It just looks a bit odd from this angle, right? It's like a little trail coming down the side, just here. And this is looking east in Jezero crater. And just here, on the ground, is a statue, just here. Okay, I'll show you with a magnifier. There it is. It's not very clear. This is a long way off. The rover is quite a long way from this, and has zoomed the camera lens in. So things are kind of in a bit of soft focus here. I have sharpened this up a bit, this image. I've got a raw one down here. This is completely raw, this one down here. Right? But you can still see it. It's there. Just there. Even in the raw image, it's pretty obvious what it is. You've got 2 eyes, a nose, and a downturned mouth, which is quite dark. But obviously it looks better in the enhanced colour version up the top here, which I've marked, just there. And it's a long, like I said, it's a long way off. I think it's quite large. It's probably double the size of a human head, I would say. But when you go back a bit, it actually looks quite clear when you zoom back a bit, like here. You can actually see it better if you don't go too close. I've got it here in my graphics processor. I've done a meme of it. And as I said, it's not very clear because it's a long way off. But you can clearly see the shape of it here. There's an eye there, another eye there, quite a clear nose, and a dark mouth, downturned, like some of the other ones I've shown in Gale Crater. It's pretty darn ugly, okay? And if you look really carefully, you can see just about make out some teeth detail here. Perhaps. Let's flip it to negative and see what happens. I haven't done that yet. There it is. And it still looks like what I think it is. You can even see an ear here. And you can see those 2 eyes. And the nose is quite clear. And the eyebrows have come out more in negative. And you can see the mouth here, which shows up as a bright line there going in a curve. So that is what it looks like. So that's probably what it is. There are plenty of people out there who are trying to convince both me and you that what you're seeing is not real. They are the ones that are not real, okay? They're part of a psyop. Much like this fake UFO disclosure that we're getting at the moment from To the Stars Academy and people like Louis Elizondo, who's actually a former CIA counterintelligence officer, okay? And he's probably still working for them right now. Would you trust them to tell you the truth about UFOs? I wouldn't. And you've only got to look at the guy, and he looks very, very shifty indeed. So I would avoid that like the plague, okay? Right, now there's this other set of images I'm going to show you now. I've got this one here. This is a cool one, actually. Sol 3151, and another one here, which is the same Sol, but closer view of the ground. I'll show you this one first, because down here we have what looks like a small dead animal. Now I'm not sure about this thing here, which has got this weird beak-like thing sticking out. I don't know what that is, but this thing next to it here looks like a dead rodent or similar sized creature. I can't prove it's a rodent. It's got a head here. It's even got a nose sticking up. It's got a leg sticking up there, another one here, another one here, and another one here. So it's got 4 legs and a body and a head here, a small head. So this looks like a sort of dead rodent or something of that size. I'm not saying it is a rodent, I don't know what it is, but that's what it looks like, lying on its back with its legs in the air. Now I have shown quite a few of these going right back since the Curiosity rover landed on Mars back in 2012. I've been showing them since early 2013, which is quite a long time, okay? In fact, it's getting on 9 years now, almost. And I've been showing these on the ground for many, many years, and there are loads and loads of examples. And I've got some I can show you as well at the end of this video. I'll put some clips of some of the similar things I've found. Okay, they're everywhere. Well, they're not everywhere. They're in certain areas, low-lying areas especially, and they're often lying on their back or on their side. And there's loads of examples of them. And I really don't know what this is next to it, but this thing here does look like, to me, a dead critter. I've called it the critter. I actually published this on Mars Magazine the other day, and no one can sort of really figure out what it is. I mean, the weird thing is this thing next to it, really, with this point to it. This almost looks like a strange mechanical object with this weird detail on top here, right? And that's kind of, it sort of comes down to here. But this thing here, I think, is separate. We've got a head here with what looks like nose detail or something there, and a chin. We've got a leg or arm. We've got another one here, right? We've got another one there, and another one here. And whatever this is lying on its back, and doesn't look like it's been there millions of years, okay? Like many of the other remains I've shown, they look fairly recent, less than 100 years old, I would say, a lot of them. So that's what it looks like. Now, if I flip this to negative, that might actually stand out more. Let's try that. Let's go back a little bit. There we are. If you get too close, it gets blurry. They're not in amazing detail, these, but these black and white ones are actually really good, because when there's no colour in the image, you can see the shapes better quite often, because the puke filter tends to camouflage everything, make everything look flat. But when you look at them in monochrome or black and white like we have today, which is what most of them are, I don't turn them black and white, they are black and white. When you look at them in monochrome, you can see the shapes better, and if you just brighten them up a bit, they're fine, and they're quite good. So just flip that to negative, and you can see that leg sticking up there, and this one here. So there's one there, one there, one there, and one there, right? Those are legs sticking up. That's what it looks like anyway. Okay, and that's the head there. Now that might be two eye sockets there, right? Which you don't really see in the normal image. You can really see the shape of this thing now. Very strange. So that to me looks almost mechanical, like a bit of wreckage, but with a dead creature by the side of it, or just obscuring part of it, because that object is clearly behind this thing, this body. It's behind it. There's the legs and the body, right? There's the other leg or arm. So it might actually be a person, or a little ape, or a little primate or something. It may not be a rodent. And this thing is kind of behind it, right? You can see that's this leg thing sticking up is in front. And then we've got this thing, which is very oddly shaped, and I don't know what the hell it is, but it certainly doesn't look just like a normal rock. That angle there, that neck part, is very strange. It almost looks like a piece of wreckage or something, or who knows what it is. As I have shown before, there is a lot of eroded reinforced concrete in the area, so what we may be seeing here is part of a concrete structure that's eroded away, leaving some of the rebar showing, like I've shown many times before recently. So there we are. So we have a corpse, an animal, or possibly even a humanoid corpse, but I doubt it's humanoid. I think that this is quite small. This thing is probably, from here to here, only a few inches, right? About 4, maybe. And this thing's about the same, roughly the same. So these things are tiny, as far as I can make out. If I show the Gigapan again, we might be able to zoom out of that. Now, I don't know the level of zoom on this, but I imagine this is about 20 feet away 15 or 20 feet away from the rover, but it could be 30. So this is either only a few inches or about 6 inches, depending on how far away you think it is. But I wouldn't think it's any bigger than that for sure. Okay, this is pretty small. That is about the size of a dead rat, I would say. A normal rat size. That's the kind of scale we're looking at. But it might be the size of a large dead rat. One of the larger varieties. So one or the other, take your pick. And there's loads of weird stuff in here. Most of this is just shale and eroded kind of rock and sedimentary layers that have eroded and broken up. But I'm pretty sure, like I've shown before, a lot of this stuff here has got metallic parts to it and is reinforced concrete that's eroded, as I've shown before. So I won't go into all that again because I've shown that all recently. Let's have a look at this one. Now, this one was cool because what we got here is some of the lower mounds and butte-like structures, so-called buttes, at the bottom of Mount Sharp. And we got these weird structures like this sticking up. This is probably about 20 feet high. Okay, they're not massive, these things. And then we've got this one over here, this weird one. I've shown this before. And this one here, very odd, these so-called buttes. And I think a lot of them, I know a lot of them actually have carvings of giant heads and stuff on them, giant faces and stuff. And inscriptions even as well, which I've shown before. Some of these buttes, on the side of them some of them have got lettering, and on the front of them or on the back of them they've got giant heads carved into them. And there is another example of that today, and it's up here at the back. Now, it doesn't look very obvious when you look at it straight away. I have shown this before. I did show this months ago, probably last year, from a much earlier sol taken back then. And we have a giant head carved into the rock here. Now, it's very hard to see it, but I know it's there because I've shown it before from a different angle. And I'll see if I can dig up the images of that and show you this from the other angle, which is slightly further around to the right and from the front. We're seeing it more from the side now, okay? Now, it doesn't look very obvious until you look at the enhancement I've done, which is down here, where I've highlighted it, okay? There it is. Let's go back a bit. Now, ignore all of this back here. What I did is I basically highlighted this whole area, thinking this whole thing, it looks like this is all joined into the rock here and carved straight out of the stone, okay? But a lot of these structures and so-called cliff edges and buttes and things that, as I've shown before, are not natural rock. A lot of these are constructed from reinforced concrete. I'm not sure about this one, not enough detail to say. But there it is. You can see an eye here, nostrils here, and a mouth with teeth, okay? And the chin here at the bottom. And I've got it up in my graphics processor here. And I'll show you that clip and outline it for you. It's not immediately obvious. Now, when you actually look at the Gigapan, let me show you it up here. It's obvious that this is all part of that and is joined into this. But the actual face or head itself is just this bit on the end. But when I drew around it, I highlighted this whole thing because it kind of looked like one object to me. You can actually see an outline going around it here, where it kind of splits there. But this is all kind of cracked and split anyway. And really the main part is on the end, right? Which I'll show you now. There it is. And we have another rather reptilian or ugly looking depiction of a Martian with a big eye here and a big eye there. Nostrils or nose here. Large upper lip. So the upper maxilla area is large, like on some of the others I've shown. Not human features. And a mouth and chin with teeth in here. Now, if I remove that, you'll be able to see those now. Okay, it's a bit vague. This is a long way off. It's probably hundreds of feet, or at least 100 feet away from the rover. And It's not focused on this area. So this is slightly out of focus, like most of the things are. It's in landscape mode, so everything's slightly out of focus. But it does mean that everything is, at least, is not totally out of focus, all right? So it's not all bad. There it is. And once you see that, try and ignore the rest of it over here and concentrate on this part. In fact, what I'll do, just to make it easier, I mean, sometimes what you've got to do is obscure the part of the image that's confusing your eyes, the brighter part, like that. And now you can see it much more easily in a way because you haven't got all that other stuff distracting your eyes. But what's weird about it is there's something coming out of the eye there, and it's like a weird structure. So this is a carving that's eroded and not in great shape, but it's not a terrible shape. I've seen worse. Okay, and there are lots in the area on these butte structures, or they are structures, they're not buttes, they're structures. But whatever you want to call them, there are carvings on a lot of them, and some of them are enormous. Okay, like I've shown before, like the Ares statue and the Emperor, the Mars Emperor, and other ones I've shown last year. So I'll put some clips of those in as well in a minute for you. So there it is, another huge carved head. How big is this thing? Right, let's have a look. Now, how far away is that? Probably about 100 feet away, maybe 2. The rover's down here, obviously, and it's looking over this. There's a sort of slight ridge there, and then it kind of goes down a bit here, and then we've got this so-called butte-like structure here next to this one, and this funny one here, this weird one. How high is this ridge or butte? Don't know, 30 feet, 40 feet. This thing's probably about 10 feet, I would say. At least 10 feet, possibly double that size. I don't know exactly. But it's quite large. But you wouldn't know that was there. But the only reason I know it's there is because I saw this from a much better, clearer angle from further over to the right here. The rover sort of drove round here from the right, and I saw it months ago from right back here over to the right. And it looked a lot more clear from that angle. So I'll put clips of that in as well to show you so we can compare them. But basically we've got a face or a carved head carved into the side of the rock here. And there may be more carved in here, but it's so heavily broken down, a lot of this stuff, that you can't really make them out very well. But there it is. Look at that eye. But we've got this weird thing coming out of the eye there. At least that's what it looks like. Very strange. Like a little tube coming out of it there. Like that. There's the other eye. Very bulbous. There's the nose. Nostrils. Very reptilian looking. And there's the teeth. You can see the teeth quite clearly there. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 or 5 teeth in a row there. All kind of jagged. So there's something weird going on with this eye. There's some weird detail there that's really strange. As I showed before with the Ares statue, that has a weird thing coming out of his mouth, like a tube coming out of his mouth, going into the ground. Okay? So there's some weird stuff going on there. I think a lot of these were water features or something. They had pumps in or out of them. Now, why would you need to pump anything in or out of a statue or a big carved effigy of somebody? Probably because it had water sprouting out of it, or like a fountain. Who knows? But that's the only reason I can think of why we would have pipes sticking out of these things. Either that, or they're just rebar, and this is made of reinforced concrete, and that's actually metal rebar showing through where this is eroded away, like some of the structures I found. Either. So we've got that one there. We've got Sol 122, which is the out of focus, distant statue head in Jezero crater. Then we've got the dead critter next to that weird thing, which looks a bit like a spanner with something sticking out the top of it. What the hell is that? Absolutely insane. So we've got some wreckage next to what looks like a dead animal, like a rodent or something similar. Could be a small primate even, or a meerkat or something like that. I have shown what look like meerkats before. And then we have this giant or large carved head here at Sol 3151. So links will be below for all these in the description, but basically the best link to go for is this one, which is just my latest or newest images, that will be near the top of the description. Okay, so thanks for watching, everybody. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Please give the thumbs up, and please leave a comment as well, even if it's just like a thumbs up emoji comment or a smiley face. Anything will do. If my videos don't get over 100 comments, they tend to get squashed and completely sort of almost deplatformed by YouTube. They really are quite hard on it now. So please leave a comment, even if it's just an emoji. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.